My name's Andrew Brain, and I'm the Director of Data and Growth at Seven West Media. And who are we? Well, we're a leading Australian-owned media and entertainment company, connecting with millions of Australians across TV, digital, and publishing. So with that, I'd like to give you a little taste of how we do that. Well, first of all, I'd just like to say thanks again to Databricks for the opportunity to share our data and AI journey. We just stood up here last year and obviously talked about what we had done last year. But today I'm going to talk about a global first initiative that's powering the growth of our streaming platform, 7+. It's a joint initiative between Seven and Databricks, where together we've built the first AI factory. So today we're going to talk about why we built the AI factory, how it works, the measurable impact it's having across our audiences and our ad revenue, but also that strategic transformation that AI is starting to push across the wider enterprise. But before we get all serious into sort of data and AI, let's just have a bit of fun. And just imagine if you knew what was very likely to happen over the next 28 days. So whilst you're imagining, I've also prepared a couple of little slides to help you get on that journey. Just imagine knowing the perfect day to buy that stock that you've had your eye on just before it spikes. Or the right horse to back and go large on the nose, or at the very least, an each-way bet. Or just imagine you know what your boss is going to ask even before they walk in the room. What would you do differently now knowing what the future is very likely to bring? Now think about bringing that same foresight into your marketing strategy and your marketing campaigns. Imagine knowing, as an ad-funded streaming platform, how many users you'll have on your platform with a 94% accuracy for the next 28 days in advance. Which audience demos will show up, how many minutes they'll stick around for, and what will they watch. That's not just smart, that's game-changing, and that's exactly what we're doing at Seven. And to be honest, we had to do this, different way of thinking at Seven. We have a real need. We have to understand our audiences better than we've ever known them before. And why? Because subscription video on demand has pivoted back to ad-funded video on demand, subscription and watch ads. So I think we all can understand that ad revenue is becoming king again. So with this, it brought us new competition. We're no longer just competing against the local BVOD players or ad-funded video platforms in our own country, which is the broadcast channels. We're actually now really facing the global streaming battleground with the likes of Netflix, Amazon, HBO Max actually coming in. So for us, the true metrics that matter are attention and ad monetization. And winning can't be just about total minutes or who's got the most amount of registered users on the platform. It's about using strategy and speed to grow audiences, but also grow them in the right demographics, like the 18 to 39s and the 25-54s. So we have to be able to compete. We have to be able to unlock business insights quickly. We need to boost audience engagement. We need to attract the high-value audiences and drive better outcomes for advertisers and brands through smarter content planning, better programming, and better digital marketing. So the big question when we talk about this was, okay, how do we use AI to compete? And really sort of compete with the big boys who are coming into town. And how do we use it quickly? Because we have to stay ahead, and we have to stay relevant, and we have to drive those revenue results. To be honest, we had to fix up the house. It was a bit of a reality check for us. If you've ever dealt with legacy tech, siloed data, or fragmented systems, you know for sure it's impossible to think AI first. So we had to move from being fragmented to unified. The siloed systems, the legacy tech, all of that made real-time intelligence impossible. We had data. Believe me, we are drowning in data, billions of events every single month. And we didn't lack insights either. It was a lack of actionable insights. And obviously with insights, every team needs questions. They have questions and they want answers, and they want those answers quickly. We also had to move from competing goals within our business to shared success. If I think about the content team, the marketing team, the sales team, they all have different KPIs, no common metrics, and no single source of truth. So we need to move from a tech gap to an AI-driven decision engine. And with that was the Lakehouse, but also quickly with Spark, MLflow, and Unity Catalog. And we actually went serverless very, very quickly, which literally shifted us in such a high gear that is enabling smarter decisions across our business. So just to recap, if you heard what I was talking about last year, our first step was really around pilots. There's a couple of guys in the room, Phil and Otto, if you're here, who are instrumental in actually talking to us from Databricks around pilots. So we had Databricks, we had the tools, we had the support, and we kicked off with this pilot. And we wanted to see if we could predict audience outcomes 7 days in advance using currency data, not our own data, but video currency data, which is from OzTam. We wanted to use it and see if we could actually look at these audiences across video on demand content only and only on connected TVs. We wanted to understand the viewership, we want to understand their demographics, and we want to understand the devices or the devices they were looking at from a connected TV perspective. And the result that we drove for that was 91% accuracy after about 6 or 7 weeks of modeling. So that really lit the fire of what's possible with 7. And we quickly wanted to go from 7 days to 28 days. We sort of touched on that last year. So we went to productionize 28 days pretty quickly. We industrialized the pipeline, and we pushed prediction accuracy to 94%. And that wasn't just across VOD. We've now done that across live streaming, albeit not across live sport, but live streaming. So we have 94% accuracy across total TV, across 7+. So this isn't just a use case now. This is a core capability and a new baseline in how we predict, plan, and power 7+. This kind of leap doesn't happen by accident. It took bold investment, different ways of thinking, and fast execution on a pilot. But we had a willingness to break the cycles, to stop doing things the old ways, to move fast and be able to move at speed. So that 28 days was a huge turning point for us within the business. It changed everything. It didn't just give us accuracy, it gave us a new lens into the month ahead. We stopped looking backwards and started to predict forward. And that shift moved us from thinking in hindsight to actually thinking in foresight. It was really a mindset shift inside of our business. And off the back of that was, okay, so what are the other pilots that we can actually spin up off the back of this framework of 28 days? Well, we thought about how do we re-engage audiences. We'll touch on that a little bit in a moment. We talked about how can we understand content, video on demand content, which is going to be the most popular, not just by the day, but by the hour of day. We also looked at what does this look like to understand our inventory moving forward from programmatic partners, so we can actually get a better understanding of the audience, of the inventory that we've got, but also the pricing around that inventory as well. And I'll be honest, we're still working on that one. But the culmination for me was how do we get data and insights into the hands of people across our business? And that really culminated in Genie, and we'll talk about Genie in a second as well. And I would just like to say, so this thinking here really was the catalyst for creating the AI Factory. And I love that animation. I use it all the time, and it always gets a laugh. So thank you very much for humoring me. But welcome to the AI Factory. I said, with the help of Databricks, professional services, and also Mantle Group, we've shifted a digital strategy to a digital data and AI strategy with an aim to democratize data and insights across our enterprise. So the AI Factory is our dedicated hub. It's moving fast. It moves innovation quickly through our business, and it's how we turn AI thinking into real business outcomes and do it quickly. And we've brought together the best of both worlds: data science, machine learning, and different engineering talent from Databricks and 7 West Media, and we literally work together hand in hand, often inside of our office, to work through the AI Factory. With a goal to rapidly spin up AI and machine learning prototypes, pilots. I don't want 3-month feasibility studies. They're expensive and they're slow. We want to work in tight 2-week sprints. Yes, literally 10 business days to understand if those pilots have an opportunity to progress, and if they don't, do we pivot, or do we have to be honest and do we actually just bin it? So This has given us a focused, centralized model where we have no silos, no side projects with the factory, just one aligned mission to scale what works and move fast on what matters. But also what we found with the AI Factory is that it's more than just technology. It's more than just software. It's a strategic and cultural shift across our business. The AI Factory has actually helped spark a data and AI-first collaborative culture across the business. Our people are not just recipients of these data initiatives that we're actually pushing out. They're active participants in the transformation of 7. They suggest the ideas, they test the pilots, and they see the impact of what's happening firsthand. And this kind of cultural shift is just as important as literally the data and AI tools from Databricks and the technologies themselves. But it's a shared ownership. From sales coordinators all the way to our C-suite, it's one of the most powerful outcomes we've seen across our business. So yes, we need to talk about our leadership's role in AI, really from an AI Factory adoption. Because as we know, true AI adoption begins at the top. And we've engaged our C-suite and senior leaders early in our journey to get their endorsement, because when we get their endorsement, it unlocks the funding, but also the organizational momentum that we can carry through the business. And I'm not going to stand up here and say anything otherwise, but AI experimentation, as we know, isn't cheap. But when it delivers, and it delivers real business outcomes, it builds trust, it builds confidence across the business and across the leadership team. And it fuels broader adoption. Our strategy is clear. The AI Factory is not just a side project. It really is, and it has become, the business enabler. And that's why our executive leadership plays a critical role in setting the vision, building the trust, but also aligning the AI efforts with our strategic goals. And I think as leaders, we must champion that data-first culture. We must foster that cross-functional collaboration and scale AI responsibly within the enterprise. When we align investment with commercial outcomes and real ROI, we do inspire that transformation across the organization, and we are seeing it already. So what has the factory delivered? Well, to be fair, in 8 or 9 months that we've been running the factory, quite a lot. We've launched over 40 pilots. We're on track for 50 by the end of this month, which is the end of our financial year. 8 of those are already in full-time production, which is actually double the original target that we set ourselves when we started. And we have several more in final testing to actually come through. We've got another 9 pilots which are ready, but we're just waiting for the right time to actually productionize those. And the use cases we work on, they're not just random ideas. Each is tied directly into the core strategic priorities of the business. And that's revenue, audience engagement, and operational efficiency. And to be transparent, it's not always wins. It's not always high fives and party pies in the AI Factory. We do have a failure rate, and it's around about 60%. But we're okay with that because we do know that the wins do outweigh that failure rate. But let's talk about marketing and how we do it smarter and how we do it faster now at 7. For digital marketing, it's really changed the game. We have built predictive models that tell us, before it happens, which genres and shows are likely to drive real engagement. And it's not just about the blockbusters, the shows that you think would drive the main engagement. It also flags unpromoted content that's just about to take off. Doing that, it lets us redirect comms or some above-the-line spend away from what doesn't need support to the hidden gems that we're starting to uncover that can actually just benefit from a little push or a little bit of a nudge. And the real impact, us as a business, it's about how we've eliminated waste. No more over-investing where audiences where the audience are already watching. We shift the model to where the model predicts the uplift, whether that's in viewers, if it's in viewer recency, their frequency, and their overall engagement. And this is just the beginning for us. But as I said, it's already reshaping how we plan our marketing dollars, how we spend it, and how we grow our audiences off the back of that. So a real example for you right now, this is how we're driving tangible results today. This is really around looking at audiences that we've got. If they're not awake with us, how do we re-engage And then how do we retain? So when we're actually looking through the factory, looking at some of the challenges, and this is a big challenge. We looked at our registered user base, which is about 14.5 million Australians. And we focused on one problem. How do we re-engage audiences who have not been active on 7 Plus for 90 days plus? And believe me, that can be a huge amount of registered users or audiences. And therefore, is a massive opportunity for us. Because we do know that using our audiences that we've already got, and if we can actually just wake them up, it's actually more cost effective to do that than constantly trying to go and acquire new customers externally. So the solution that we came up with was a reactivation model. One that didn't identify on users who'd lapsed, but the ones who are likely to return if nudged in the right way. But also shorten the re-engagement timelines, because these audiences started to understand additional content that they were missing out on. By layering in content affinity, modeling to tailor those nudges. So in the process, we even managed to flag audiences whose engagement was starting to drop, so we could actually bring them out of the dip and actually pull them back into the platform. The payoff for us with this piece of work alone, if we bring back 10% of lapsed users, which we have, it has delivered an incremental $16 million in ad revenue this year alone. And the big part about this is because we focused from above the line to below the line spend, we've managed to save around about $5 million in spending off network. So we're really focusing on bringing those audiences back in that we've already got an email address for or declared data. What does it look like when you talk about cost-efficient growth? Just remember, we were talking previously where we were just looking at our local competitive set. Now we've got a competitive set where there's probably maybe 12, 14, 15 different platforms that we have to compete with for audience, let alone ad revenue, but for audience alone. We've been running these models now, and this is what that looks like, that growth looks like. Our daily active users in an aggressive market is up 40%. Our stream starts are up 48%. Our total minutes streamed is up 42%. The work we've been doing has always been able to understand where our audiences are actually dropping off through the week, which is from Wednesday to Saturday. So we've done work now to actually reduce that gap of that audience dropping off and that decline. So what does that mean? We're now actually starting to give advertisers and brands scaled audiences for 7 days of the week and not being that front-ended into the front of the week. So audiences and brands love that. Helps them with their campaigns. They deliver effectively. It removes any frequency cap issues that they might have. So we're really pushing in the right direction. And when we do look at above the line spend, we can now see that it's working harder. Our click-through rates on the 7 Plus is up 39%. And our cost per click back to 7 Plus, now running different data models, we've managed to drop that by 55%. This, I would say, is, and I hope you'd agree, is data-driven marketing. And for us, as I said, it's really working. But I really want to talk about, I'll say, the proudest win from the AI Factory, our natural language query model, Genie. Genie is built on 7 data and OzTam data, our actual industry currency. And this does something incredibly powerful. It lets anyone in our business, not just analysts, ask complex business questions in plain English and get answers in seconds and not hours, literally seconds. They're asking questions such as, which shows connect with the most amount of home loan intenders over the next 28 days? Tell me about programmatic advertisers who have targeted the rookie. What's the top content for 18 to 39-year-olds in this year alone, looking back after a whole financial year? For us now, Genie is powering these insights and these answers. And for us, it's releasing the bottlenecks across our business. We run a very, very lean data enablement team. And I wouldn't say that any of our departments are swimming in people. So releasing those bottlenecks and the analyst dependencies on queries has been game-changing for us. It's fast, it's accurate, and it's now shared insights. And that's what we talk about when we talk about democratization of data and do it at scale. And the adoption of Genie is growing, and it's growing quickly. It's probably the most exciting launch that we've had within our business. We now have gone over 100 active users across sales, marketing, and our content teams, and that really is rising quickly. And we're actually doing a phased rollout at the moment so we can actually educate people on the way, but as soon as they get access to it, they are in. In the last month alone, we have had over 380 questions asked in plain English, right? That's a unique question for them to get that. They answer, believe me, people ask questions in many, many different ways to ask the same question. So when you look at the 380, it's probably closer to 2,000 different questions which have been asked. So the thing around this as well is make sure that we're delivering the right information back, to those questions. And we check that with Genie. We literally take 100 random questions and we spot check that with a human to make sure that the information going back out is actually accurate. Genie for us right now, and Genie, to be honest, is probably about 2 months old, has an accuracy of around about 90% of the data, which is actually powering it. So I would like to say something that's 2 months old, that's a really good solid base and a really good sort of signal of trust of that data from our business. But it's also returning those answers so quickly. We set a KPI for returning answers through Genie to 25 seconds. We want low latency, because when you have latency, adoption drops, right? And we can all see that if we've ever used Tableau previously, right? So just get those answers into the hands of users quickly. In terms of impact across our business, it's really reduced human intervention across 7+ by about 35%. So those 3 questions I talked about just now, that comes from the data enablement team, it comes from the commercial data team, and it also comes from data digital insights. So now they're not getting as many questions because they can actually get those answers back through Genie. And it's really interesting when you look at Genie and just how people use it. We've got 17% of users actually say please when they ask a question, which I thought was quite nice. And then we have 5% when they do get the answer, they actually say thank you, which I also think is quite nice. I've got to say, though, this has really introduced, data and democratization to our business. From programming, marketing, to sales and finance, even the MD and CEO, the power of natural language interfaces is starting to power the business, and everyone will finally tap into insights without any technical training, which is huge across our business. Genie has been the fantastic and awesome gateway for AI across our business. We literally moved from AI awareness into action, and we're going deeper with Databricks and Mosaic AI, and we're exploring advanced capabilities like prompt engineering and RAG-based systems through the AI Factory. We are driving real efficiency and real wins through the AI Factory. We're seeing immediate impact beyond just audience and revenue, and we're reducing ad hoc data queries to automating repetitive tasks. AI is unlocking significant time and operational efficiency across our business. We have smarter workflows in action. We have AI agents now handling triage of our 7+ support desk, which is freeing up 2 humans to actually do more strategic or creative work. We're also using Databricks apps to create content promo scripts, where recently we've literally just run a pilot where we've ingested 10,000 promo scripts from the last 4 years into Genie. And Genie is creating a first draft of upcoming promo scripts. With so much content on 7+, that cuts 35 to 45 minutes for each new show, a new episode that the guys are cutting every single day. And there's volume inside of that. Genie is delivering the first draft of the script, which is very, very accurate, in about 3 minutes, which is very powerful across our business. So this culture and capability is really driving that transformation across our business. Every streamlined workflow, every workflow that we can streamline gives our team more space to think, act, create, and that's got to be a good thing for our business. But through the AI Factory, we also want to reimagine how advertisers connect with Seven. And here's a vision that I have. We want to expand the 7+ advertiser base. I want to debunk the myth that small business can't afford TV. Believe me, with digital streaming and the platforms, yes, they can. Imagine a local business owner logging into a self-serve platform powered by a first-party and second-party data assets and an AI agent, surfacing the right audience insights for the brief. It plans and books the 7+ campaign across screens based on what the advertiser's brief and budget for their small business. It can even create the video asset from simple creative brief that you give it, or if you want to upload the marketing materials and let it actually create through AI. And the best bit for this, I know that from, I've got a head of finance sitting over here, the best bit for us is how you do that purchase through a credit card. No credit checks, no paper, no paperwork, literally just a brief, a credit card, and a click. This for me, I think, is the future of campaign activation. AI-powered to grow Seven's customer base. The big tech platforms have been doing this for a very, very long time, and we've been slow to the jump on this. So this is something we need to double down on, and we will double down on to actually expand our customer base. So the AI Factory is now the engine behind the 4 major digital business pillars that we operate under: audience predictions and personalization, content and marketing intelligence, revenue optimization, and operational excellence. And each of these align to our core business goals: deeper audience engagement, higher advertising revenue, and drive greater efficiencies. This is all designed to supercharge our streaming across 7+. And so, where are we heading next? Right now, we've talked about our AI strategy, and it's been around being predictive. Help us to forecast what's likely to happen. And as I said, that's already delivering us big value. But as you've heard, not just from me today, but I think over the last couple of days, it's about how that AI is becoming instructive, where AI doesn't just predict, but it'll actually decide for you. Again, from an imagined perspective, imagine agent creation of delivering responses to advertiser briefs that continually learns to deliver the best response based on the outcomes of other similar campaigns. Or from a content promo perspective, think about the auto-adjust in real time of these content promos that we would be creating based on sentiment of the shows resonating on social media. So we should be actually up to date with what the audience is talking about. So we should be using that data to design our content promos. And I'd like to say this isn't blue sky thinking. I think it's already starting to happen. And to be honest, we intend to lead this. This evolution is opening up new, powerful ways to collaborate with our commercial partners. We have agencies actively leaning into the AI Factory. How can we work with them? How can we reduce frictions of trade, or actually just be easier to trade with? For us and our companies that we work with, it means smarter, faster, and more effective outcomes. I'm going to wrap up in a second, but I just want to leave you with a few takeaways. Our AI Factory is running on Databricks, and we are reshaping audience growth, our ad revenues, and our digital marketing. And right now, believe me, locally, is positioning us as leaders in data-driven media innovation. It's helping Seven set new standards for AI. And I think that others will follow us from a media perspective. We are shaping models that others will copy. And that's fine. I think we're happy with that, because that for us is a bit of a compliment that we're actually leading the way. We're not talking about CDPs. We're talking about AI inside of our business and how it's actually driving better outcomes. And we are just getting started. The AI Factory is delivering creativity, better connection with audiences, and setting us apart from our competition. So that's me wrapping up. And I would like to say, I'd love to hope that we're back at Summit next year in 2026. And if we are, then we'll take you through the discoveries of the last 12 months. And who knows, being here last year and this year and next year, that might be the three-peat. And I don't know if anyone's done that before, but we're happy to give that a crack. Thank you very much for your time.